So, hello everybody. Thank you for waiting. Welcome on my live session number 5. Sometimes, unfortunately, YouTube is giving technical delays, so I had to solve some problems here. So I hope if you can tell me if you hear me well, that would be great. If you can tell me, can you hear me well? Otherwise, this live sessions, I think, just technical check. Yes, great. So I'm really happy to actually perform this vlog here from Leiden Bioscience Park. For those who actually, you guys, if you could actually put it in the chat where you come from or where you're based, that would be great. So I'd like to really have a lot of interactions. And what is important, I think, from my perspective, I think it's important to introducing myself first, because I know that these sessions also are gathering more and more people. So hopefully, based on the numbers of views, which I already have seen, I'm also in a way experimenting with time. So you can also indicate which time would be possible for you guys. But importantly, the time, I think, I already looked at possibilities whenever there is possibility for timing, and I see myself now in live session, but I've seen that I was doing actually a lot of sessions, and first session was done actually with 64 views. So I see that a lot of people could not join, but actually was able to watch, which is a good thing. But I'm trying to play with different days. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I was thinking about also sessions to be organized on Saturday. So that's something I think it's important to share with you, so that it can be more available to everybody. But generally, this live sessions are for discussing, looking from different perspectives at a brighter future in order to create brighter future for postdocs and PhD students in life sciences. And why I am talking about that, because I've done PhD in stem cells and for postdocs, so I'm quite strongly connected to academia. Myself now I have a startup which is actually main activities are focusing on developing consortia between academic groups and industry and startups. And these are science projects, science-driven, based on my know-how. And the other thing which I'm busy is with, since I have very strong academic background, I see what is happening also in academia, and I was talking about this in my previous vlogs, that academia doesn't really leave so many options for long-term development, or because there's not enough permanent positions, staff positions. And I think, as we discussed before, 99.5% of PhDs needs to find a way outside of academia. And I think that's the biggest challenge. And that's why I think this live session makes sense, because I talk about all different options where PhDs could be, and also PhD students. I think that's also important to hear for PhD students could be potentially hired. So I talk about that during live sessions, and I'm also commenting certain editorials from Nature about further development of PhD students and postdocs in academia. What are the possibilities? I joined political party T66 in Netherlands, which is the only party which is focusing on education. It's called actually Onderwijspartij, so political party, educational party, which is investing in education as one of the I think the only parties in Netherlands. And I also invite a lot of students, postdocs, if you have free time and you want to do something to join this party, if you have basic knowledge of Dutch, this is still Dutch-speaking party, please join this party. But today I'd like to talk about the event which I went last week. This is the event, and I hope you can see it. I will try to show it. Yes, good. This is the event which is called BCF Career Event. This event took place in Beatrix Building in Jaarbeurs in Utrecht, 24th of May 2023. And this event has been already ongoing for many years in Netherlands. And this is the biggest event, I would say, job fair for PhDs and PhD students, but also master students. So we don't exclude anybody here. But importantly, this is the biggest event in Netherlands related to job market and possibilities. What I like about this event, besides that this was initiative of Hive and Projects, which I have a pleasure to also know the founder, and how much she put energy with her team to make it every year better and better. That indeed there are numbers of companies, and I'm going to talk about this and talk about this event, especially for people which maybe aren't just yet orientating, or they are not so highly aware of this type of events, or they are maybe just started PhD studies, but they already think like maybe that would be good to know it for the future. I'd like to, during this session, talk about this event. So first of all, regarding services offered during this event, there are coaching services. I'm also agile coach, actually, which is helping postdocs or PhD students to make a smooth transition from academia to industry. And I am a licensed coach. Since I am PhD, I think I have the deepest knowledge of actually how to make such transition, because I've been on this path, I went through this path, and now I'm actually embedded into industrial ecosystem here in Leiden Bioscience Park. And Leiden Bioscience Park is the biggest and the oldest science park in the Netherlands, with more than 215 organizations. So coming back to coaching, there were coaching sessions one-on-one. I'm also doing coaching one-on-one. So if you search for coach, which would help you, PhD coach, or coach or PhD in life sciences, please also contact me via YouTube channel. I'm happy to help you how to efficiently make this transition, because also during this event, BCF event, in the program, there have been discussion about academia versus industry. And of course, there are differences. There is more academic freedom. In company, this freedom is more or less limited, but also it's more application-driven science, which is happening in industry. And there are scientists on the other side in industrial ecosystem. So academia is not the only one which has highly regarded. The same type of experts, high quality experts, are based in industry, also PhDs, but also masters with a very long experience, long track. So regarding the event itself, it's a one-day event. It's live. There's possibility to check your CV, to actually take and get professional photo, having coaching. And what is, I think, the most exciting, I think, from all these booths, which are there, talking to so many companies which are hiring or bachelors or masters or PhDs and postdocs, but also not forgetting about if you look for the intern or stagiaire, they also look for people like that. And I'd like to mention name of these companies, because I think that also can help you out if you think about PhD, because they nicely actually brought It's possible to see. They nicely brought, you see this kind of table with points next to, and I hope you can see, I think, here better. They also subdivided it by type of career you have. But basically, companies which are searching for PhDs or postdocs are 360 Pharma, all for PhDs and postdocs, because we talk mainly on this live session about creating brighter future. So in a way, also sharing information about companies which are interested in hiring PhD students and postdocs. And I think that's what I want to focus here. So it's 360 Pharma. Then we have company which is Alucent, Ausnutria, Averteam, Bildhoven Biologicals. There is new initiative Biotech Booster. This is for new initiative, and this program is going to run actually later this year. It's a whole actually company based on initiative for training PhDs into business developers. So I think that's also important path if we think about potential job development or career development for PhDs or PhD students outside of academia. Business developer in life sciences can become also, if you are people-oriented person, if you have entrepreneurial spirit. For being entrepreneur, as a scientist, entrepreneur like me, I think it's important maybe to prepare yourself, follow some business course, or some summer school. So in that case, there's Biobusiness Summer School prepared also for hyphen projects. But I also myself, I will also give you the link, offer in collaboration with a serial American entrepreneur, 5 days online course for budding entrepreneurs, scientists mainly. That's our target group from all over the world. So it's global pre-incubation program, and the link I will also give it to you here. So I think business development can be a very interesting function in terms of still, connecting science to business. Then we have biotech training facility, that's BTF. Myself, I'm not so sure how many postdocs has been hired there. I know managing director, but I don't think he's really focusing on only PhDs and PhD students. So this, I'm not so sure that's so well verified. And this is located here. That's why I can give you more insight. There is also Bristol Myers Squibb. This is a company which is hiring PhDs, but not postdocs, maybe in the future. There are also companies like BeyondThese, and we will talk a little bit about companies which are maybe doesn't ring a bell, because that's something which maybe we can also look it up. Charles River, that's also a company which is investing in PhD students and postdocs, which you may know. Checkmark lab recruitment, it's indicated, but I think these people mainly look for Dutch people, which speak fluently Dutch. So I think if you're international, you may have limited chances there, because I talked to some people from there. CLS Services, that's also Dutch-oriented recruiter. Dutch language speaking skills are here, I think, very much required. I think in general, if you think about, staying and planning to stay in Holland long term, I think knowledge of Dutch language can help you not only in communicating with instances, but also in communicating with your potential job employer. Dutch, knowing Dutch, it can be a pro. There is also Dirks and Dirks, ECCRT, Eurofins, F-Found. That's actually an organization which also is developing grant writers, and this I know that's quite verified, that they are hiring indeed PhD students and postdocs. So this information is truly verified here. For Moro, I never heard of. GenDX PhDs. Then we go to GeneMap. I think GeneMap hires and bachelors and masters and PhDs and postdocs and interns. So it's quite broad, in a way, quite broad spectrum, wide spectrum of professionals at different level. There have been also German Cancer Research Center, which I was very surprised. So DKFZ, which are reaching out, also in Netherlands. Then Isogene Life Science Not, Johnson & Johnson, of course, which you already know. It's an international company. Kelly, Keygene, Kite. Life Cooperative, MSD, Netherlands. That's also important. My recruitment, but also Novartis. I was really glad that such a big global company also have been having a stand. So you could talk to representatives from Novartis. Oxford Global Resources, Rescope, Sartorius. I think you may know it from the weight when you want to weight something. I think that is the brand, known brand. But some also Scenic Biotech Science at Work, not Technical University Braunschweig. So another German university which is reaching out and searching for PhDs and postdocs, or PhD students, I would say. And I think in this level of education, I think it should be meant master PhD student, because if it's just given PhD, this suggests that this is already a postdoc person which has a title. So it should be, I think, clarified to PhD student to make it clear. And we have different recruitment companies. Tema Group, Top X Network, that's new network for promoting and empowering women in life sciences business. So Work Kingdom Mark, that's another one. So if I actually summarize all this, if you think about this, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. So out of all different organizations, including German Cancer Research Center and Technical University Braunschweig, we have more than 30 organizations hiring PhD students and postdocs. So that's quite a lot. And if we think about how many we have, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 31. So we have 62. So half of them is hiring PhD students and postdocs. And I think that's very good news. These are very good news. So this helps you a lot to, since there is so many organizations during this BCF career event, I think this gives you a very great chance to very well get oriented about the job market in life sciences, but also it gives you high opportunity to actually get a job in this more than 30 organization. So more than 50% of all the booth represents companies which are searching for PhD students and postdocs. So I think that was very good to know. If I would like to focus on some companies which could be interesting in terms of new developments regarding function for and hiring for PhDs, but also new function for PhDs in their career, is definitely Biotech Booster, that offers a great training for PhDs and postdocs to become business developers in life sciences. And I think I heard from the CEO want to hire around 40 business developers, so that's quite a high number for hiring. And they have very big budget for training to perform this function at best. I think also interesting companies from actually Bioscience Park, which are also located here. I think if you like trainings and performing workshops, and you have already GMP and you mostly, I think, Dutch speaking, biotech training facility can be also a good option. Although I don't know if they're really hiring PhDs only. I didn't see so many there. Bristol Myers Squibb, it's a company which is American company, and recently hired quite a number of people, but it's also busy with building infrastructure here in Leiden. This is pharma. So that's also great that this company is looking at people with PhD students, but not postdocs. That's a little bit pity here, that postdocs are not really officially brought here as a potential hire, although I know colleagues which join company as with PhD level. So it's maybe that's not only per se. Maybe it's something which could be, I think, elaborated on more. Charles River, I think we all know that. These are companies which actually first produced animal derived products, also mice breeding and so on, but they are also busy with performing a lot of projects. If you look at their website at Charles River, it is located in Leiden, here in Leiden Bioscience Park, one of the biggest companies next to Johnson & Johnson. And their motto is every step of the way. So this is the company which is, if we look at description, provides products and services to help expedite the discovery, early stage development, and safe manufacture of novel drugs and therapeutics. So this is more, this research is based more on therapeutics, but also developing of disease-relevant cell-based models, right? But to develop this therapeutics at early stage. If I look at other company, which is in Leiden, so which I can also relate to, since I'm also in Leiden Bioscience Park, is Eurofins. Eurofins is a smaller company than Charles River. These are very international, big companies here. But Eurofins has it's biopharma company developing biopharmaceuticals, but also a lot of project management, testing cosmetics, forensic materials, quality control, science, reliability, failure testing. So this is also something which I think it's important to know about the companies which are located here in Leiden Bioscience Park for you guys, and what kind of their profile is, because that also, again, creates different options, and you might be interested in these companies. Maybe I should also focus on these companies. Some of the companies like GenDX and others are located in Utrecht Science Park. So we don't have only Leiden Science Park, but also in Utrecht, which is connected close to campus. And I think that's also good to know. Other companies which I would like to bring maybe um, if I look at these companies, I was kind of surprised by the company which is working Denmark. Work in Denmark. I think that's recruiter. That's one of the companies I don't really recall it even as quite already acknowledged person if it comes to companies. It's apparently National Public Employment Service for international candidates looking for a job in Denmark and Danish companies searching for talented candidates. So except German and Technical University of Braunschweig, we also have looking for international candidates which look for a job in Denmark and Danish companies. So that's good that also these companies are reaching in to Netherlands or to the pool of available PhD students and postdocs to work in Denmark. So that's something which I think it's good to know. Yeah, now I would like to switch a little bit, talking about all these different companies. I think maybe this can be a little bit um, too difficult to follow all the companies which I'm talking about, but I'd like to also give you some highlights and feedback from program. There were three parallel sessions in three different rooms, and it's always that I think you have to choose which session you can you want to join. It's a bit like conferences and plenar sessions, but also then parallel sessions later on. But it was a very interesting keynote opening by Jan Poelman, which is global head of bacterial vaccines from Johnson Johnson. And he gave a very beautiful lecture about his lifelong journey, personal journey in the field of bacterial diseases and vaccinology, and building teams to create innovative new vaccines. And since my startup is busy with creating consortia or collaborations between academia and startups and companies, that was very much also for me beautiful lesson which he shared, or testimony, is that regarding pharmaceuticals, there is a lot of aspirations of academia or academic groups to develop pharmaceuticals within academia. However, his experience is that this has been a very tough type of collaboration, and if you really truly want to develop pharmaceuticals, you need to rather develop it within private sector, so industry, right, to keep all the standards and quality, especially if this standards and these projects will be planned to be implemented as clinical trials or in clinical trials. And that's something which I also know from other Tech Talk, so events from Leiden Bioscience Park, where universities try to develop till very early stage biological products, for example, cell products or co-product cells derived, and without support of industry already at very early stage, they may very quickly fail because of lack of expertise in not only regulatory bodies, but being just simply fundamental researcher is not enough to perform clinical research or move fundamental research towards clinical and clinical research. So you need to have experts, and you need to be actually embedded within industry already from very early beginning, not when you pass preclinical stage. You think about, okay, now I want to go to clinical trial, and I will now invite industry to join me. Well, that can be very much too late, because apparently design of experimental trials has to be and I think that's good that it is performed this way and aligned. That it has to be industry proof, especially when this type of first clinical trials are as kind of ambition of fundamental principal investigators at universities. So that's a lesson. If you want to do that, if you plan it, involve industry right away from the beginning, and not when you are ready for clinical trial. That can be already very much too late for industry to be involved, because simply experimental design of clinical trial at university is not approved by industry, but by standards in industry. So that's a lesson from other networking event, which I learned a lot, and which very much also brings the message here that if there's collaboration regarding this early stage discovery, preclinical research, and then clinical trials, this has to be followed right away, and collaboration has to happen very early on with industry. If it comes to academia needs to collaborate way at a much earlier stage. Then there was a session which I liked a lot. It was about empowering your career, especially targeted for women scientists, entrepreneurs. Free perspective has been given by Anna Tricia Heitel from Pfizer, Juliane Bernholz from AM Pharma, and these are all C-level ladies, and Judith Haykop, Inspiring 50 Europe Deep Tech Award winner. And the session was beautiful, listening about path experience of all these women at C-level. I learned a lot. First of all, that there is no one typical fixed path. We used to think about our careers also as a PhD students and postdocs, that you get your PhD, you publish papers, right? You become principal investigators or group leader, and now this doesn't happen. It's harder and harder. Also, being principal investigator requires being successful in getting subsidies, so the grants and the competition. We know that it's really hard and really fierce to receive funding. So you have to also have qualities to be a good leader, not just good scientist. You have to work ethically, right? You cannot treat people like slaves, not to lead to burnout, and so on. So you have to maintain well-being of the team which you formed, and you have to support your team, empower your team. So not everybody has the skills and possibilities or capacity. So if you think now, well, what's going to happen after I leave academia? This was great to hear from these ladies, especially from female perspective, because it was addressed from female perspective to women, but there was a lot of women, but also, of course, this was not exclusive only for women. So that was really nice to see that also there were some men present there during this session. So it was addressed both to females and men. And this lesson was important to know that based on this career planning, it's not that you plan something in 5, in 10 years. Things are changing, maybe you become mother, you have career break. So you cannot, plan everything in 5 or in 10 years as a path. But this is changing depending on country. And what I like about all these women, that they had very international career paths. So they were working a lot in US. And there have been a lot of chances given to them in United States in terms of personal development, getting MBA or even PhD, which Anna Tricia was commenting that actually she did PhD at the last. So not first and then entering industry, but after already being in industry. So that was nice to see that you should never think like this is the last step of my education, and from now on I just want to grow in my career ladder. But you should think about there's always time for education, and education is important part of this professional journey, right, while having also a PhD. And they've been working in many different companies. I would like to comment one particular person which I really made huge impression on me. Her presentation about her own career path, which also she commented it was bumpy. So if you want to get to the top, you know that the road will be bumpy as a not just as a woman, but just as an ambitious professional, which wants to get to the C-levels, to the top in big companies. So I took picture of her presentation, and what I really liked, I can comment, and that was, Judith Haycock. So Inspiring 50 Europe Deep Tech Award winner. She did actually master chemistry at University of Amsterdam, PhD in medicine at University of Amsterdam, then postdoc at LUMC. And then she actually described her journey at different companies. So she joined afterwards Organon, then McKinsey and Company, Crusoe, which was now is actually Johnson Johnson, and Numico, so Danone, DSM. Then she was even self-employed, which also shows how independent she grew after having good industrial portfolio. Then working in Vivolta, Quarin, and Altro Medical. And every time she was actually deciding about her career path and networking and talking to people, what are the possibilities. So I think direct networking is very important. Even you are not planning yet such a career path, as you can hear there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different companies which she went through in a way during her professional work or career, and this was not planned right away from the beginning. So that's important to know that these things has never been planned, and I think that's what we have to think about. We have to think more agile. We have to more think in short term, because a lot of dynamics is different. If you think about what was possible 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and what is possible now, it's not possible to predict everything. And I think you need to also let's say adapt also your mindset, because it's also about having this mindset to take a challenge, right? It's very nice to stay in one place, in one company for rest of your life for 30 years. But sometimes companies undergoing reorganizations like Johnson & Johnson or other companies, and simply they downsizing. And you have to be prepared to have options, potential options, where who of or which could be your next employer. Or maybe you want to set up your own company. You have to keep these possibilities open, and not just think about companies, but also about taking your own initiative and setting something on your own. That's also very important, especially if you are a PhD, because I think we have a great capacity. Not only we were highly trained to present scientific research, but also apply for grants. I think if I pitch to other potential business developers or organizations, this also is part of training which I got during my PhD studies. So we can apply a lot of or transfer a lot of skills from during PhD can be transferable skills and can be easily applied in business. And I think that's the reason why Biotech Booster is also interested in PhDs and training them for scientific business developers or business developers in life sciences. So that was a very nice session. So there's no standard path, especially nowadays. That was great to hear from all the C-level ladies. And yes, you need to use your network. You need to use, maybe it's a bad word, but you need to directly network to see how many other options are possible. And that I think keeps your mindset very open. So you have to stay open to all different possibilities and talk to different people, even not necessarily from your industry field, but other people, because they might also have other contacts or other perspective, which I think I would add here, a perspective out of the box way of thinking, also in career, developing your career path. So we have 9 minutes. What else? I, of course, visited a lot of booths. That was nice to talk to some people and catch up. But I've been also on part of the sessions, academia versus industry. I was really glad that there were people from Amsterdam UMC, and that was business developer already. So Amsterdam or University Medical Center has already business developers. So they are already in academic structures. So academia is changing also in terms of functions, job functions. There are more and more business developers present at also universities to reach for collaborations with industry. Not only companies have their business developers, but also academic institutions. There was also a town senior scientist from Merus and quality specialist from PepsiCo, Ninka Konijn. And this was moderator Remco Jonkind, which I give greetings here too, from Hyphen Projects. And I liked it because Remco said that he's actually between, because actually I think, as far as I remember, he has 3 different type of part-time jobs. He works at university, he's training students, I think managing PhD thesis and other courses. But he also works for Hyphen Project, so he's between academia and industry in the gap. And this session comes back and you see every time how much we can learn. What is so different in academia versus industry? What I've been not on whole session, but what I see, there is so many similarities. Maybe there's more freedom in academia. You have more time to finish projects, but it's also less teamwork, right? I think that's very characteristic for academia and industry. And you are more, it's true, it's more individual way of doing research, rather a team-based research, compared to industry where team-based projects are the key of success, right? More people is on the project, more efficient we can develop innovation and deliver product to the market. That's a manpower, right? That's the manpower which is needed here. There was also a session which I liked, a career at Sartorius, discover the various entry opportunities. I like that Sartorius, as one of the few companies, including GMAP, Novoderk, Skype, MSDs, had their own session. I think it's important not just to have a booth, but also present yourself as in parallel sessions. And that was just few companies. So maybe for the next year, more people, more companies can join. I also like that Catalyze was there, transitioning from academia to industry. And Paris Asif, which is strategic business developer, was actually showing also her, or actually talking about her way of developing career by networking on LinkedIn, inviting people for chat coffee, being so, in the way, very brave and very vulnerable. And she was sharing actually that she was very positively surprised that a lot of people which she connected on LinkedIn searching for her position in her professional job, actually looking for the job, were open to talk about their work, their function, and connecting to her and having chat coffee online. So I think that's why LinkedIn, it is also for, keep connecting to likewise people, or people which you would also like to work and maybe take the same function or develop the same type of career path. Just contact them, and not only direct networking is important, but also your own initiative on LinkedIn. I think it can really contribute to connecting you to right person. And many times you will hear yes rather than no of having such short chat. And I think it's great that we on LinkedIn have such a great community. I'm also building my community of very diverse people, scientists, but also from academia, from many different countries, as many as possible, and including also America. So thinking more global, more fast forward, that gives incredible ideas about how people develop in other places in the world, innovation, and learning from them too, by interacting with them. So that was very inspiring, I would say, and I like that also Biotech Booster was also on the session. So that's, there are a few companies which have been there. I think CLS Services, GeneMap, Novoderg, Skype, MSD, Oxford Global Resources, GeneDix, CBG Map Drugs, Janssen Biologics setting up a new lentivirus manufacturing facility, Hive, and of course Projects, the main organizer of this event, Ardena, Isogen Life Sciences, Sartorius, Biotech Booster, relatively new initiative, but also Oxford Global Resources. I think I already mentioned them, and they had actually 2 sessions. But so there could be also more companies. I think that would be great to see, because it was like 62 companies, more companies, which could potentially had also a session. Maybe next year I will have aspiration to have also parallel session and talk about this transitioning from academia to industry. So not putting session what is different in academia and industry, but session about transitioning from academia to industry, and talking about that maybe in terms of some workshop exercises, because you need to have proper proper mindset, which is embracing change. So change-driven mindset to make this transition successful. So I think that's what I'd like to share today on this live session. If you have any questions, please let me know. And what else I wanted to say? Maybe I'd like to make again announcement that if you really don't know where to start, just contact me. You want to make transition, you want to find job in industry here, maybe in Leiden Bioscience Park, just contact me and we can start from the beginning, and I will coach you and basically guide you till you will land a job, the job which you like. That's important thing. If you make this transition, that's important always to think about this. Not any type of job, but the job which you particularly looking for. And I think that's what I like to invite you to basically contact me and join my coaching sessions. They are paid. These are sessions which are paid, but the price for coaching is very affordable. So I know that there's limited budget on academia to support students and postdocs, or PhD students, postdocs, for this reason. So this could be a very nice option for you guys. So I think with this, we have 1 minute. I'd like to thank you for the attention, and see you next time. And as I said, I'm playing with different days regarding this live session. So just be tuned in the YouTube. Please also don't forget, if you are not yet subscriber, please join me. Please subscribe to my channel. This is at no charge. And become subscribers so that you can get all the notifications, and that's also you can have right away access to all this high quality content which I'm presenting. And I think this also can help us in the future as we can build much bigger community, many more initiatives which I like to organize at my YouTube channel and help in process PhD students and postdocs to in a way, maybe that's something which I would think about, but to make the smooth transition from academia to industry, if you already made such decisions, or discuss also what else we can do at university to change work culture, but also to change structure, which can come from initiatives of PhD students or postdocs. So that's something which I think I like to wrap it up today. Thank you for watching and for your attention. And as I said, don't forget, for all the people which are watching it, if you like the content, please subscribe and also support to develop more and more content on this channel. If you have some suggestions what we could talk about, also please let me know. Contact me also by YouTube, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. I think on YouTube there are also my contact details regarding my LinkedIn, but also my Instagram. So you can contact me through LinkedIn. I think that's the quickest, and from there we can talk further. So thanks a lot for today. I wish you a good day, and yes, stay tuned. Bye.